Hello everyone, this is Pathak and you're watching my channel. So today I will talk about vitamin D and previously I talked about vitamin C. So before starting off with this particular presentation, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe my channel. Also you can follow my Instagram account which is healthcare for you forever. So let's get started with this particular presentation. Okay, so what is basically vitamin D? So there are two types of vitamin D. One is cholecalciferol and second one is ergocalciferol. So cholecalciferol is known as vitamin D3 and ergocalciferol is known as vitamin D2. It's a fat soluble vitamin, unlike the vitamin B and vitamin C, which are the water soluble vitamins. Vitamin D, also known as the sunshine vitamin, obviously we get it from the sun, so that's why it is known as sunshine vitamin. Is one of the essential fat soluble vitamins. It holds a very specific significance in helping the body to absorb calcium, which is necessary for promoting bone health and remodeling of the bones. This fat soluble vitamin exists in two forms, which are vitamin B3, known as cholecalciferol, which can be naturally produced in the body, and vitamin D2, commonly known as ergocalciferol, which is consumed through regular dietary intake. So these are the two structures of vitamin D, ergocalciferol, which is vitamin D2, and cholecalciferol, which is vitamin D3. Okay, so basically these are the two structures, and you can see the difference between both the structures. You can see that there's a CH3 group in vitamin D2 structure, okay, that is highlighted, and in vitamin D3 there's no CH3 structure, okay, and there is also a double bond just beside the CH3 group in the vitamin D2 structure, but there's no double bond in vitamin D3 structure. So this is the difference between the vitamin D2 and D3. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide to talk about the sources of vitamin D. Okay. So talking about the sources of vitamin D, it's almost same like vitamin B12 where the vegetarian sources are not present. Mostly non-vegetarian sources are present, but I can state some of the vegetarian sources and non-vegetarian sources over here. If you want vitamin D from the vegetarian sources, then you need to have fortified milk, mushrooms, and the sunlight, oatmeal also. So if you want to have vegetarian sources of the vitamin D, then you can have all of these. If you want the non-vegetarian, then you can have salmon on cod liver oil, and there are other sources of vitamin D as well, which are like tuna or some other sources which are non-vegetarian. Okay, so these were the sources of the vitamin D. Okay, and if you really want to enhance your vitamin D levels, then you need to have all of these sources. And obviously sunlight is the most important one because the sunlight is responsible for converting the cholesterol into the cholecalciferol, which is basically the vitamin D3, and it that cholecalciferol then synthesized into the liver into the metabolite known as calciferol, which further undergoes hydroxylation in the kidneys to give the biological active form calcitriol. Then calcitriol circulates in the blood in the form of a hormone and plays an essential role in the absorption of calcium. Okay, so basically, sunlight is really responsible in conversion of cholesterol to cholecalciferol, and then the further hydroxylation synthesis into the final form of calcitriol helps in the absorption of calcium. Okay, so vitamin D and calcium go hand in hand. Let's move on to the next slide to talk about the benefits of vitamin D. Okay, so benefits of vitamin D are as follows. It promotes bone health, reduces the risk of diabetes, it helps in fighting depression, and it also helps in preventing the cancer. So obviously, vitamin D is responsible mainly for bones. Okay, so it helps in promoting the bone health if you have very good levels of vitamin D. It also reduces the risk of diabetes. Okay, and it helps in fighting depression and also helps in preventing the cancer. Let's talk about the deficiencies of vitamin D in the next slide. Okay. So obviously, as I told you that the vitamin D helps in promoting the bone health. So if there's a deficiency of vitamin D, then you will have rickets, you have osteoporosis, okay, or osteomalacia. So rickets is like the bone shapes are not well. You can see in the picture as well that the bone shape of the legs is not well. Either it is bow shaped or it is very narrowed. Okay, depending upon the structure of the individual or depending upon the deficiency, it can happen in both ways. Even either it could be narrow or it could be bow shaped. Okay, then osteoporosis is like that there are many pores in the bones. Okay, so it basically reduces the bone density, and obviously it could lead to the weakness in the bones. And then osteomalacia is like that the bones get softened. Okay, the bones are not very hard, so obviously you won't be able to walk properly, you won't be able to do things properly, like you won't be able to walk, or you won't be able to move your hands, you won't be able to do your day-to-day tasks because your bones are now very soft. Okay, so these are the deficiencies of vitamin D. Then next deficiency is muscle pain. You will have a lot of muscle pain if you don't have vitamin D in proper amounts. Then you can also have heart disease like coronary artery disease. Okay, so these are the deficiencies of vitamin D. I hope you really like this video. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe. So thank you so much. Stay safe and healthy, and bye bye. See you again in the next video.